Okay, we are back with another episode of the Grenglish podcast. I play the intro. I'm Greek Australian. That's why I look like this, but I sound like this. Okay, so we have a few nice little pieces of content to go through. I have a list of maybe a new bit to the podcast is going through some of the garbage that comes from the internet. My friend said, talk about this on camera. It will be interesting to see what you say. So I haven't seen it yet. Let's check it out. I'll play it here. That can't be real. It is real. He's wearing it on his shirt. I didn't know Greeks anywhere in the world dressed like this. Is he wearing a do-rag? Who is this guy? This is a rapper? A Greek-American rapper? Is that a song? Oh my god, it is a song. The whitest dude. I used to always make fun of white dudes wearing a do-rag, and I had to wear one for a bit. Give me a sec. Amerikanaki, apparently. That's what we're doing now. Amerikanaki, Greek people with white skin wearing do-rags. Idrosare Malaga. So yeah, Amerikanaki is like, it's a white boy summer apparently. I thought it was a brown boy summer, but apparently not. With the velvet do-rag. I don't know, maybe Greek people can wear do-rags. I wore this as a skit that we did this week to act American, but apparently it's okay now. It's an evolving world. I look like Timu French Montana. Okay. So, next thing we have to talk about. My friend told me, the same friend, told me just to Google Armenian revenge. Revenge for what? Against the Turks? Probably. What? Operation Nemesis was a program of the Armenian Revolutionary Federation to assassinate both Ottoman perpetrators of the Armenian genocide and officials of the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. No way. In 1920 and 22, a clandestine cell of the Armenian Revolutionary Federation carried out 7 killings, the best known being the assassination of Atalat Pasha, the main orchestrator of the Armenian genocide by Armenian Soghomon Tehlirian in Berlin. This is some like Mossad level shit. So wait a second. The Armenia assassinated a bunch of Turkish people who were in charge of the Armenian genocide. So, and this guy assassinated Talat, the former Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire, the main architect of the Armenian genocide. At his trial, Tehlirian argued, "I've killed a man, but I'm not a murderer." And the jury acquitted him. He got away with it. What? Wow. Let's look up this Talat Pasha guy. Pasha. Wow. Holy shit. Look at these. I'm looking at pictures of the Armenian genocide, but mind you. So, and I'm not going to put them on the screen. Mehmet Talat was a young Turk activist and politician and convicted war criminal who served as the de facto leader of the Ottoman Empire from 1913 to 1918. He was the chairman of the Union and Progress Party. During World War I, he became Grand Vizier, the Prime Minister. He has been called the architect of the Armenian genocide and was responsible for other ethnic cleansings during his Minister of Interior Affairs. So he killed all the Greeks and the Armenians and the Assyrians. And the Armenians got him. I didn't know that. Like, let's be honest. This is they got him in Berlin. They assassinated him. Like, usually it's, let's be honest, it's the Israelis and Mossad who goes after those who do genocides, not Armenians. Wow. Operation Nemesis. They planned it. They killed Aram Yera No, they killed Fatali Khan Kioski, Prime Minister. They killed the Prime Minister of Azerbaijan. They got some high-level kills. Minister of Internal Affairs of Azerbaijan, the Grand Vizier Tayyip Talim Pasha, founding members of the Committee of Union, the Ottoman, committee, Bahreddin Shakir, the guy in charge of Trebizond, and the Minister of the Navy, Jemal Pasha. Wow. They really cleaned house. Cool. Well, that was an interesting start to the day. What? Woo! Right into it. A bit of Amerikanaki and a bit of Operation Nemesis. Okay. Anyway, so I was talking with a friend actually, and we were talking about when I'm going to be Prime Minister of Greece and all the changes I would instill. And he said you should do like a Fideas where he became an EU parliamentarian. And I go, Malak, I can barely speak fluent Greek. He's like, they speak English there. I'm like, oh, word. That's a good point. and we were talking about how Greece should have a right of return. There are 10 million Greeks in Greece. There are 10 million Greeks outside of Greece. But a lot of the Greeks outside of Greece don't have a passport because their dad or their mum aren't born in Greece, right? But they're second or third or fourth generation Greeks and they want to come back. A lot of them do want to come back and want to buy property, they want to live here, blah, blah, blah. But they can't get a passport or it's very hard. So we were talking about how good would it be to have a right of return, basically, like Israel has. This is the second time Israel has been brought up. But yeah, so I'm going to run for EU Parliament. Fuck it. Why not? It would be funny. I mean, we were laughing, but it only requires, like, there's 21 people in Greece who go to EU Parliament. And my biggest weakness is that I don't speak Greek, but they don't speak Greek in EU Parliament. They speak English. So the other people who are Greek are the ones at the disadvantage. Because most of them don't speak English. Mind you, the other Greek EU parliamentarians in recent history have been a lady who got caught with like $500,000 cash in her apartment because she was selling cigarettes to Qatar. How do I put it? Heavy fascist dude. The guy who gets the most votes is a TV presenter. So someone from entertainment isn't off the table. And this is Eastern Europe. This is the Balkans, bro. There's a guy who's comedians. The head is the prime minister in Ukraine. So it wouldn't be crazy. It would be funny though. And I think we looked at how many votes the guy who got the least amount of votes but still got into EU Parliament from Greece got. 11,000. Not like I can convince 12,000 people to vote for me. It would be funny. It would be funny. And because it would be funny, makes me want to do it. Anyway, so Prime Minister Moulos parliamentarian. I've heard crazy things happen in the Balkans. Oh yes, this is a good one. So this is another thing that another friend sent me and said, is this bullshit? Is this real? This is some historian, a professor, going through questions about answers questions about ancient Greece and what my thoughts and beliefs are, since I'm a qualified moron. So did ancient Greeks really just walk around naked all the time, or the people who made those statues and paintings just super horny? Great question. I should have watched his video before I did this, but actually no, better, so I'm not colored by his answers. I don't believe they did. Like, they weren't walking around naked. They exercised naked, and that's why all the statues and shit are naked. But even when they went to battle, a lot of the scenes on the Attic black pottery, they're naked, but that's just in for decoration, to show how athletic they are. It was a mad flex to flex your physique. So no, they wore clothes today. Relax. But when they went to the gymnasium, they definitely were naked. What's the next question, mate? How accurate is the movie 300? Well, that's a great question. 300 is not based off history. It's based off a comic book. However, of course, that comic book by Frank Miller, whatever the fuck his name is, was based off the true story. Based on primary sources, based on secondary sources, based on archaeological evidence. It definitely happened. Were there exactly 300 spines? Oh, I don't know. There could have been 350, could have been 250. It's not really the point. The point is, was there a very minuscule amount of Spartan hoplite soldiers, Spartiate citizens, and a ridiculous number of Persians? Yeah. And did they fight at Thermopylae? Yeah. There were also, 7,000 Thespians? And, there's always a supply network, so there was, of course, heaps of slaves. But it paled in comparison to the Persian forces. Now, was it a million like Herodotus says? No, there. I don't know what's with Greeks, but they always say 1 million. 1 million this, 1 million that. Who wants to be a millionaire in Greece? What's the prize money? 100,000. You know what I'm saying? So there's probably 100,000, maybe 200,000 Persians, but it's just not physically possible at that time in human fucking history to have 1 million people in Greece fighting, right? So ridiculous. But yeah, the Battle of 300 probably did happen based on the evidence. But yeah, that one, all the exaggerations are Malachias. If Alexander the Great was so great, why did he die at 32? Dumb question, but I'll answer it. 32 was old back then. I don't know what you're talking about. 50 was old. If you made it to 50, it was like crazy. But 32 was like middle age, let's say. I don't know, maybe because he was like in a foreign country with his European genetics, drinking to excess, the most powerful man in the world. I'm surprised he lived that long. No European has fought their way into Persia since or before that far. So if it wasn't going to be the disease, the battles, the diseases, or the assassins, or the court intrigue, it was going to be dying from success, drinking when he was to drunkenness. I'm surprised. How crazy is that? No European has ever gone that far militarily into the Middle East since Alexander the Great. Wow. Interesting. Next question. Was there a huge outdoor statue of Athena in the ancient Greek Acropolis like Assassin's Creed? Well, I'll tell you. And I just finished playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I've dying to do for 10 years. I don't think so. It was inside. It was dumb question. People like to ask dumb questions. What's worse, the fact that my draft folder was deleted or the burning of the Library of Alexandria? That's a funny question. That was a real tragedy, the burning of Alexandria. Definitely that one. Next question. The fuck? Who do you think was the best ancient Greek philosopher? I'm going to have to give it to the man himself, Diogenes. You know what I hate about Diogenes? And a lot of ancient Greek shit. It's so like... I know Greeks now. And as much as people change, the soul of the people in many ways doesn't change. And like, if Alexander the Great came to Athens or wherever the fuck he went, Sinope, and Diogenes was sitting there in a pot and he's all homeless and shit, and everyone's standing there, and Alexander the Great's like, Malaka, well, I'm Alexander the Great, I want to ask you questions, blah, blah, blah. Diogenes was like, can you get out of my, like, I'll give you, that's what he said. Alexander the Great was like, I'll give you whatever you want. And Alexander the Great, and Diogenes was like, yeah, can you just get out of my son? You're standing my son. And Alexander the Great's like, if I could be anyone besides myself, I'd be you. Now, if I'm standing as a bystander, I'm watching these two talk, I'm like, I say to Diogenes, can you shut the fuck up? You're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Please. You stink. You stink. I get it. The whole, but give me a fucking break, guy. He lived for the moment to say, Alexander, get out of my son. Like, after he said that, he was like, that was good, huh? Good, Malaka. Kills me, though. but not Diogenes. Probably I don't know, Aristotle, some shit. How did ancient Greece elect leaders specific to each city state? Not answering that. Too many city states. How much do we know about the original Olympics of ancient Greece? Heaps. I'm speed running these questions. What did the Greeks invent? Everything. Um, Next question. The Greek gods were said to live on Mount Olympus, a specific, easily accessible location in Greece. Not easily. Did anyone go and check? I mean, yeah, they did, but it was more metaphorical. Next question. Greece have an empire. Did they have an empire, bro? No, they sat around philosophizing. Well, Greece had many empires, but ancient Greece, the way everyone thinks about it, was never one whole thing. The only time it was close to being one whole Greek empire, which was nothing ever, was called the Greek Empire, was Alexander the Great. And he wasn't a Greek empire, it was a Macedonia empire. You know what I'm saying? Like Alexander's empire, if anything. And even then, Sparta wasn't a part of it. A lot of little Greek city-states weren't a part of it, which is even more funny. But if you're going to say, did Greece have an empire? Alexander the Great, the Delian League was basically an empire. So Delian League, even the Minoans was a bit of an empire. It wasn't a country. Anyway, let's say Delian League, Athenian Empire. Alexander the Great's Macedonian Empire. East Roman Empire. That's about it. The School of Athens by Raphael depicts the greatest thinkers of ancient Greece. When was there a truly golden age? That didn't make sense. The golden age of Greece was after the Persian Wars, so let's say 479 to the start of the Peloponnesian Wars. I would say 430, and even into the Peloponnesian Wars, but things were kind of hectic. That was when things were good. If I could travel back in time, it would be to then. Don't forget that ancient Greeks had no rice, no pasta, no tomatoes, and no potatoes. What did they eat? I'm actually thinking about doing a series of cooking some ancient Greek foods. I think it'd be fun. How did the ancient Greeks know they lived on a planet in outer space? I think they did something with the sundial, and they realized they revolved around the sun. Anyway, so that's the end of that series. I thought that was a little bit fun. Here's a little interesting one for you. I went to the Piraeus Museum. What an underrated museum there. I've lived in Athens 7 years something, and 7 years something, and I have never been to the Piraeus Archaeological Museum. And I naturally took a girl on a date there because that's what dates with George Moulos look like. There's a lot of archaeology involved, and it was very good. It was a great museum. There was a few very interesting statues. Usually, with these museums, these regional museums, let's call them, that aren't in the center of Athens, you expect leftovers. But no. And because it's in Piraeus, it's what they found in Piraeus. So there was a lot of, I should put it on the screen, but there was a lot of anchors. I've never thought about what the hell did they use for an anchor? And it was just big-ass rocks with a hole in them, which is fair enough. And there was a theater at the back of the museum. There was a couple of Roman heads, Trajan, Hadrian. I found a epitaph, like a tombstone, that said money twice on it. There was an amazingly detailed bronze statue of Athena or Artemis. A few helmets, a few swords, a lot of Attic poetry. The ram of a trireme, that was incredible. And another lion, which, I've seen a few lions, pretty much all the lions of Greece. One in Hieronea, one in Amphipoli. So it's really impressive. I really like the Piraeus Museum. I think it's very underrated. Piraeus Museum. Go check it out. Go on a date there. Take your girl. Take your boy. Whatever you're into there, just make sure you get to the museum. Let them know at the front I sent you, and they'll show you all the exclusive exhibits, huh? I'm buying an apartment in Athens, and my friend who works on like the Wall Street of Sydney was telling me about how he's buying, he has an apartment, and in the building he's buying a car space because he's been wanting a car space for ages. And the space, his car space, I'm looking at I couldn't believe how much it cost. He's buying a car space for 150,000 Australian. Let's say that's 120,000 euro. My apartment is 120,000 euro. I'm buying a 1-bedroom, 52 square meter apartment in the center of Athens with sea views, just out the center of Athens, in Pagrati, with sea views, and he's buying a car space in Sydney. Like, we're getting to a point, you know what I'm saying? We're getting to a point. Jesus Christ. Anyway, and on that note, that's it for episode 15, probably. I don't know what episode we're on to, of the Grenglish podcast. I'll see you next week.